Hey everyone, so welcome to the Digital Marketing Career Kickstarter. I'm very pleased to have a guest with me, Mandar Marathe, who's the co-founder of Briefcase, which is a Mumbai-based digital agency. Mandar has actually 11 years of experience in digital marketing, and I've actually been tracking him on LinkedIn, and we decided, it would be good to connect and collaborate on this webinar. So if you're new to the Career Kickstarter webinar, this is actually for all of you who are looking at getting into digital marketing as a career. If you're looking to switch into this, this is the right webinar for you, because in each of our webinars we talk about some latest news which applies to you, which is relevant to you, and we talk about a market case study, we talk about a tool insight. So it's going to be a lot of useful stuff going ahead. So great. Mandar, you want to just say a quick hi to everyone?
Hello everyone. Thanks, Kaushik, for having me on today's session. It's always a pleasure to be
Right.
associated with you. Thank you so much.
Great. So, what we'll do is we'll get into the news, and we just came across a few updates from Saurabh Jain. We track him on LinkedIn, and some of the things which these are some of the latest news which he's talking about, right? So LinkedIn is reportedly working on notification filters. So basically, what that means is that you can tell LinkedIn that you want only a certain kind of notifications. Then LinkedIn updates Campaign Manager, adds brand awareness and conversion campaign options. So all of us, I mean, most businesses use Facebook and Twitter ads, but a few large companies, especially those who are looking at B2B audiences, also look at LinkedIn ads, right? And when it comes to setting up the objectives, so LinkedIn has added these couple of options to the ad panel. That's what this means. Then some other things very quickly. Instagram adds new comment warnings and restricted mode as anti-bullying measures. So basically, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Instagram, and if you're getting bullied, right? So basically, there are features uh, which will restrict your visibility to the person whom you report against. Right. So these are some very good things which are happening. All these platforms are really waking up to these problems online, right? Yeah, I think these are some of the main things that I thought we should cover. Our main news today, which we wanted to actually just and kind of get Mandar in also very quickly, is the fact that is this whole thing about fake news and fake accounts and how this is impacting the world today. And if you look at uh, first of all, when you talk about fake news, it's actually a problem which involves fake accounts. Also, it's also the news items which are fabricated. It's a combination of these two. In fact, I was just listening to Sheryl Sandberg, the COO of Facebook, and she was talking about how Facebook is actually taking down 1 million fake accounts per day. And she admitted that they really missed the whole Russian interference during the US elections. And so all these companies are now waking up to this big problem. And what you see right now on the screen is what the WhatsApp did during the Indian elections to tackle fake news. So they launched a new platform to wherein people could actually report. You can see this screenshot where someone is reporting a certain fake news item and on a certain WhatsApp number they call it a checkpoint, and from there WhatsApp basically uh, they reverted very quickly on message whether it's true or fake. Now, These now, what are these companies? So this is on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, especially on WhatsApp because of the kind of demographic that it deals with, and because it's so widespread, and it can really play a pivotal role during uh, and spur protests, and it can be instrumental during elections. Now, let's now talk about what companies are doing. Right? Uh, so
So,
one is
yep.
that these big platforms are acquiring, like strategically they're acquiring AI powered startups. I mean, not getting into this, but this is a field by itself. There are companies which specialize in detecting the language and and the behavior of such posts which are fake. So, not getting into it, but yes, these platforms are interested in acquiring such companies. Technically, Mandar, what are your thoughts on what are the things which Facebook is doing on the platform on
So,
the technology side? What are
yeah,
your views on
from so I mean, if you look at it, false news or fake news has it's not a new phenomenon. It's been there,
that? Right.
and it's the responsibility of all of us, including the tech companies, media companies, teachers, like
Right.
you and me,
Yeah.
to take up the responsibility in terms of addressing it. Now,
Right.
what Facebook is doing is it has actually partnered with third-party fact-checking organizations, like you showed for WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
So that they can limit the spread of news.
Hmm.
Second is they are also empowering people who are using their platform to report fake news. So they are taking these signals from people who are, on their news feed, maybe just reporting specific items and saying, this is fake news.
Right.
Like you said, there is a lot of AI, machine learning that is involved. Facebook is again applying that to help their response teams in terms of detecting fraud and implementing policies against these spam accounts through which you're getting a lot of fake news. So,
Yes.
fake Facebook is doing a lot actually in terms of fighting fake news, right from ranking improvements of how a news feed should show up, or reporting in terms of their advertising dashboards to make it difficult for advertisers actually to promote fake content. So again, a lot of your ads you would see is that they would go into review unless and until a news or a post is not verified, it would not get approved and not show up on the audience's newsfeed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are some of the measures I believe that Facebook is taking in the right direction towards curbing fake news.
Yeah. So actually, so just for giving a context to what Mandar just said, he was talking about the transparency which is being got into the system when it comes to paid ads, and he rightly said during elections, it's all these companies have to be very transparent. And on the organic side, there are now what Facebook is doing is they are recruiting fact checking companies wherein the moment there's something uh, which is suspicious news, this is being these can be flagged off by users, and what the platform does is that it diverts these to other fact checking organizations or individuals, and what it does is that it gives an option to the user to read a version of this which is being checked by which is actually fact checked and which is from a reputed company, right? So on the organic side and on the paid ads
Yeah.
side, on both sides, the platform is taking various steps to ensure that there is more transparency and that that the whole fake news thing is the impact of that is
Yeah.
limited.
So, I mean, if
Yeah,
you just do a quick search for Facebook Ads Library, which is a new tool that they've launched, you
right,
will actually see the spends of different brands, what they are spending in terms of promoting their ad, and what are the ads that are running through
right,
their brand pages, right? So, in terms of making the environment transparent to everyone,
Hmm.
They have launched the Facebook ads library, or you can even go to any Facebook brand page, and on the left hand side, if you go to info and ads, you will be able to see all the ads that a particular brand or a page is running, right? So that makes it all the more transparent, in terms of whether the communication is an ad or it's a organic post that has been done by the brand.
Sure. Sure, great. So those were some good inputs. Okay, so we move on to the next part of the webinar, which is a market case study. And here we are going to be talking about a new product launched by Nike around augmented reality, which is really a you know indication of things to come. To give a background to the audience, when you talk about augmented reality, right? It's not something which is really new in that sense. If you have played with Snapchat filters, if you have played the Pokemon Go game, you already know what augmented reality is all about, and it is actually people talk about virtual reality, but that's really far down the road right now. Right now, what in terms of what businesses can actually start applying and the kind of what is really feasible for businesses is augmented reality, right? And so I think the best thing to do right now would be to watch this video, and I will tell you exactly what Nike has launched, and maybe if you think if you're working in a company which can do something around augmented reality, you should start thinking about it right now. So yeah, have a look at this video. Okay, so I'll just like to get Mandar here very quickly. So, Mandar, do you know of any Indian companies who have done something in this? Do you think it's something which most businesses should try and start implementing, or do you think it's just wise to wait till the average till
Yeah.
the time people in India are used to such things?
So I think when AR came about a few years ago, it was thought as gimmicky in terms of a marketing tactic or a strategy.
Right,
But now I would say AR marketing is going mainstream.
right,
And I'll quote Tim Cook, who's Apple CEO, and he said that AR will be one day as important in our everyday lives as eating 3 meals a day, right?
right,
So the large companies or large tech companies, Facebook, when it comes to their Spark AR platform, or Google with its launch of Google Glasses, or Apple, all of them are focusing on AR as the future, right? So
right,
there are a few market leaders in India who have kind of adopted to AR marketing. From what I know, there is Asian Paints who has
right,
done an application called Color with Asian Paints. And
right,
you can simply, I mean, if you are looking about or want to do interior designing or painting your house, you can simply point to a wall and see how the wall will look like in different colors, right? Along with your furniture, right?
right,
Something which IKEA is also doing a lot in other markets where they are getting
right,
people to see, what furniture could go at which place in their house.
right.
Then in the entertainment segment, again in India, since Bollywood is a huge thing right here, right?
Yeah.
So you have a lot of Bollywood movies being promoted using Facebook's Spark AR platform. So you had Sanju, and
Mm-hmm.
when Sanju was launched, they launched the face filter, and
Mm-hmm.
they launched a campaign which was look like Sanju, where you could be a part of the movie poster. There was
Right,
Gold, which was the movie. There was 2.0 again, which came out with a Facebook filter. So a lot of
right,
these movies are getting into AR.
right.
Then there is a interesting startup that we work with. It's called Quaqua,
Mm-hmm.
and they are trying to bring AR travel experiences. So before
Mm-hmm.
planning your trip, if let's say you want to go to Paris, before actually visiting Paris, you can stand in front of the Eiffel Tower and get a 360-degree AR experience of
Right.
that destination, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there are multiple industries that are kind of adopting AR. To some that I'd name is, I mean, the retail space, like you said, in the auto segment, Tata Motors and Maruti are planning to implement customized solutions. Then in
Right.
the design space, we have Asian Paints, tourism, education again is a big industry where AR can really create a great or a rich learning environment for students.
Yeah.
So the use cases are manifold, and it's just about from a marketing perspective or a brand manager's perspective, it's just about thinking how AR can integrate into your overall marketing approach, and
Yeah. Yeah.
jumping with both feet in. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I would say that we should
Yeah.
get looking
No,
at.
it's interesting that you spoke about this look like Sanju, application, not used it or not looked at it before. But I think those are the kind of AR applications which are going to be really impacting this whole thing in India, and which is going to drive usage. Yeah, I mean, Snapchat is still more of a, I would say, urban kind of a phenomenon in India and in all over the world also. But if you look at Bollywood, that's really mainstream. And if you can do some AR stuff around that in India, that's going to really drive usage. So and that's going to make people comfortable and with what AR is all about. So great, yeah. Uh, so let's move on to the. Are there any other points, Mandar, before we move to the next section?
Uh, so yeah, I mean, just to reiterate
Yeah.
an article that I read from the
Hmm.
it says that if you are using AR, you are able to capture people's attention for over 85 seconds, and that doesn't happen with online ads. That doesn't happen with a blog or any piece of content that you're
Yeah.
creating, right? Getting people to watch 85 seconds or being tuned to your content for 85 seconds, that's huge.
Yeah.
So interaction rates have increased by 20%. Click-through rates or CTRs for purchase have increased by 33%. So
Yeah.
AR when it comes to e-commerce, or AR when it comes to engagement, is definitely the next frontier for marketers, and Nike is doing it the right way, like you said. The Nike Fit video which we saw, that's a great example of brand using AR. So yes.
Next section of this webinar called Tool Insight. And in the last, so just Mandar was just talking about how augmented reality is such a novel thing, and and the fact that it retains audience interest in such a way, the very fact that it is so new and it can retain audience interest is, these two are reasons enough for a business to experiment with it. And really, in online marketing, it is about experimentation. You can't read case studies and kind of figure out what is going to work or not work. You have to try it for your brand. You have to try it for your audience, the kind of following that you have, and trust me, you can be surprised. So, uh, so that was about augmented reality. We now talk about a tool which all of us know, and which allowed me to connect to Mandar, and we're talking about LinkedIn. And the reason we are talking about LinkedIn today is that there are a couple of things, a couple of improvements that LinkedIn has done to its platform, and there's some reasons because of which we really recommend using LinkedIn today. And I'll dive into it right away. Uh, okay, so I'm just on someone's profile who I believe I don't know this person, but I really think he's leveraging LinkedIn to very well. Okay, and I'll tell you why. So before we get into what specifically are some of the new things on the platform, which on LinkedIn, which we need to leverage, let's discuss why it is so relevant. Right? I just said that we need to use LinkedIn a lot more, and the number one reason is the organic reach. Right? If
Yeah.
you talk to any brand marketer, you talk to anyone who's managing a fan page, a Twitter account, he'll tell you that a fan page, especially, that the organic reach has really dipped. So it's to the order of 5%, 7%. Which means that if you have 100 people who are following you, 100 fans on your page, and you do a post, not even 5 or 10 of them are actually getting that post. Forget seeing that post. I'm talking about getting that post. The reach number that you see on which is being talked about in the reports, that is actually the organic reach rate. And when it comes to LinkedIn, the numbers are far higher. In fact, it could be 6 or 7 times higher. Of course, there are no official statistics which are being rolled out by these platforms, and the fact that it also depends from case to case. But definitely, it is 5 to 6 times that of Facebook. So it's almost as if this is a platform which will allow you to get the reach of similar to what Facebook was, 5 years back, right? So Mandar, would you agree? Do you meet companies who are also complaining about the reach of Facebook and the whole
Definitely.
thing about
Yeah.
Facebook? Yeah,
What I would say is, our numbers are worse. I mean, so if
yeah,
you get the organic reach for Facebook, it's sub 1% for most of the clients or brands that we work with. So I mean,
okay,
whether it's Facebook, Instagram, all of these platforms have become paid to play platforms.
mm-hmm,
And after I think Microsoft acquired LinkedIn,
mm-hmm,
uh, there has been a major push in terms of content creation, or actually coaxing individuals or coaxing the people who are using the platform to create content for LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has launched allowing users to share videos. Then there
right.
is a live video which they recently launched.
That's
Uh,
only in the US though, right?
Yes,
Live is
still as a beta version in the US, but
yeah,
launched LinkedIn Live.
right,
So they are, providing a lot of opportunities because for people to come back to the platform, use the platform to consume content. With
yeah,
that being said, I'll say that definitely the organic reach for LinkedIn is through the roof as compared to Facebook or Instagram. Uh,
right,
just to give an example, so I've been posting my podcast updates on LinkedIn,
mm-hmm,
and I have close to 2,500, 3,000 people on my network. And for every post or that I put out, I get close to 1,000 views for the post. For some, I get more than 8-10,000 views. So
Nice.
that's roughly 30% of my net worth reach on an average is what I'm getting for every post that I'm putting out there.
Right.
So yeah, definitely. I mean, LinkedIn is working. If you're in the B2B space, definitely make use of LinkedIn. Uh, Try to work LinkedIn's bias to your advantage. So create
Uh-huh.
content that LinkedIn already has a bias towards. So which is video content, or which is long form content on LinkedIn Pulse, which is the app for publishing content on
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Can you explain to the audience what you mean by LinkedIn has a bias
So
towards it?
bias in terms of how the LinkedIn algorithm has actually evolved. The current algorithm actually gives a lot of importance to video content. So if you are posting video content on your feed, there is a high chance that your reach would be tripled or quadrupled, as
Right.
opposed to just posting, let's say, a text-based content, right? So it's giving a lot of bias towards video content. It's giving a lot of bias towards if you are commenting on someone else's content that is already picked up. So then LinkedIn will kind of give more bias towards the content that you create. And again, one thing, when it comes to using LinkedIn from a brand perspective, I'd say that, and LinkedIn also says it, is that if you post on a company page, you might reach X number of people, but if you post through your profile, you will reach 7x the number of people, right? So get your employees, get everyone who's on LinkedIn to post through their profiles and actually, boost engagement for all the brand related content that you're creating, right? So don't just post it through the company page, but also go for posting it through your own personal profile. That will
Right.
uh, get you higher reach.
Right. But I think still the algorithm has a bias towards you know pe- individual profiles. So even when I look at my feed, I still I would say see 80% of the updates from individual LinkedIn profiles and 20% would be from company pages. So so I mean, just trying to say here that if you're just starting out your business, it makes sense to use first your individual LinkedIn profile and use it to the maximum. And of course, on the parallel, you can start your LinkedIn fan page, LinkedIn company page, and wait until that also develops. But probably just makes sense to use your LinkedIn personal profile to the maximum bit.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. So focus on growing your network on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Add relevant people within your industry. So let's say in the advertising agency space, I would reach out and connect with brand managers, or I'll reach out and connect with digital marketing managers on the
Yeah.
brand sites, right? So spend 5 minutes every day on growing your network, your
Yeah.
professional network, and also focus on regularly posting content. These are the two things I'll recommend from
Right.
you know
5 minutes, yeah, that will really help you increase your ROI, business ROI. So let me just get back to this. I'll just share my screen, and as I said, this gets into I mean, Mandar was talking about videos, and this is an example of uh, cheat sheet which is in the form of a. So this is a PDF, and you can see the kind of visibility that it is having on LinkedIn. And so what is happening is that since, as Mandar also was talking, since Microsoft acquired LinkedIn, you see a lot of these changes, especially for Microsoft assets, Microsoft formats. So for Excel sheets, for Word document, and even for PDFs, you will see that the platform is giving a preference. If you upload a Word document, you'll see that the visibility is very good on the feed. So it makes sense to if you have these kind of assets, please make use of it and upload it. Like don't give a link. It's one of the things which most savvy marketers do is that they upload it natively, which is what is happening on the in the example that you're seeing right now. So this person is not giving a link to a online Excel sheet or something. He has uploaded it natively, and you can see uh, the kind of engagement that it is having. Of course, he has been doing it for some time. You see, I just scrolled and there's one more cheat sheet. So he has been doing this consistently, and that has resulted in this kind of engagement.
Yeah, so what I'd recommend is going maybe one step further.
Sure.
Rather than I'd say if you want to generate business or leads out of LinkedIn, then uh, uh, don't post the entire content. Just post maybe an excerpt or 2 or 3 slides of the. Let's say you have a 100 slide presentation on state of podcast marketing maybe in India. So
Mhm.
post a few slides and ask people who are interested in receiving the complete document to comment, so that people say yes, I'm interested in receiving this document, and collect their email IDs and send it out. So you can definitely not just so yes, you're giving out valuable information for free, but in exchange at least you're collecting their email IDs and trying to get some business in the future from them, right? So that's what I would say. I mean, Nabi is doing an excellent job, but again, if you want to uh, generate
Sure.
more business, then I'd say you should gate your content.
Yeah, no, and I agree with Mandar. I mean, the example that we are discussing right now, this is slightly uh, I mean, this guy is just giving out everything out for free, right? And if you just survey his profile, he's doing really well on organic. I mean, you can see 676 likes, 16 comments, but that's probably in lieu for a lot of information. Yeah. Uh, so I'm just, uh, yeah, I mean, a lot of free information. So that is also a tactic. That is if you have access to this kind of constant uh, it is a lot of hard work, getting all these documents in place. So if you have access, so then yeah, probably you can just do this for a couple of 2 3 weeks when you begin to see what the response is. But otherwise, like Mandar is saying, just put out a snippet which looks good and which kind of signifies what people can get if they sign up or if they click on a certain link and or they sign up for your trial or something.
So
Yeah.
another example I'll give is Gary V. I think everyone
Mm-hmm.
on
Yep.
LinkedIn knows
Yep.
Gary, and again he puts out at least 4 or 5 different pieces of content on LinkedIn, and his cornerstone content, let's say Gary V content strategy or content marketing model.
Right.
He will put that on his website and gate it so that people can actually download it after giving their email IDs. Whereas
Right.
a lot of 90% of the content is given for free, but
Mm-hmm.
the most important piece of content, maybe that 10%, is something which is used for a lead generation perspective. So yes, give free content. Don't shy away from giving free content. 9 out of 10 posts, give it out for free. Maybe one post you can get it and use it for demand generation.
Yeah. 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 That's a good benchmark, I would say. So great. Okay. So let's move on to the next and the final part of the webinar, and that's with respect to the activity that we had left you with. So the activity basically was, if you look at any e-commerce site and e-commerce or travel site, right? And I'm just going to travel site or e-commerce site, and you're actually you started liking a property here in this case, and you want to book it, right? So okay, right. So you are at this stage. You put in all these details, and you actually at this point you decide that you want to check out some other hotels, or you want to speak to your friend, you know. So at this point, you just leave. You just cross out this page and you leave. Now, this is called an abandoned cart, right? And this is something which all the e-com companies, they are really paranoid about. They're just, they don't want you to come to this stage and then just abandon the cart, right? And that is why they have these automated mailers which get sent out to people who are at this stage. Now, one thing you must remember is that you can't send a mail out to someone who has not registered with you. So if someone, like for example, I'm not logged in yet, so these guys can't do anything about it. So I have to be logged in. I have to be identifiable to the platform, and only then can they send, uh, send me that mail. So that is why most of these guys want you to just make an account first. The very first thing that a lot of these other sites also have this strategy. When you go to a site, they first want you to identify which location, who you are, and before you really proceed, because in the experience, sometimes they can then, if you abandon, they can just send you a mail or be in touch with you. In fact, the more aggressive of these portals, I know Go Ibigo, for example, is very aggressive. They actually, not only mail, they even for higher value transactions, they actually give you a call, right? So if you're on an international, if you're doing an international booking, they will actually call you if you after 2 or 3 minutes if you have abandoned the cart. Yeah, that's how aggressive some of these travel companies especially are. Now, Mandar, any? I mean, I'm going to be talking about how you can do this on Mailchimp. But are there any points that you want to add about how important this is, or any?
So yeah, what I'd say is this is one of the great conversion optimization tactics on digital
Right.
is to actually talk to a person to get them to buy from you, right? So
Mhm.
apart from someone calling you on the phone, a lot of e-commerce companies are also having a chat window where before talking to a chat representative, you might have to enter your name, email, phone number, right,
Yeah.
and get started. So people like to talk to other people before they are making a payment, right? If you're buying a simple T-shirt or you're booking a let's say hotel in Goa, or you're booking flights for your international travel, you
Right.
always want to talk to someone either through chat or on a phone call, and that converts the customer much faster. So I would say definitely if you're an e-commerce company, try to include elements where you are able to connect with the customer, and if the customer is about to abandon the website, then have exit intent notifications, have chat, have a phone call or a customer service representative call the person, right? There are different tools. So one which I'd recommend is Clicktail, and
Okay.
Clicktail actually allows to you to monitor behavior of people who are visiting your website, and
Mm-hmm.
get statistics in terms of from which IP address are they coming from, which location, etc., and set up let's say triggers for you to initiate a conversation with the person who's visiting the website, rather than they reaching out to you, right? So let's say there's an e-commerce company that's using Clicktail, and someone has visited, let's say, the home page, the category page, has visited
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 product pages. You
Yeah.
get the entire behavior as to what are the products the person is browsing, and you can then reach out to the person saying, hey, are you having trouble finding your pair of jeans, or are you having trouble finding your white t-shirt? I can definitely
Yeah.
help you out, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, you should definitely make use of tools where you could better the customer experience on an e-commerce website. Yes.
Sure. So, if I've understood this, and I just opened up the website as Mandar was talking, so the example that we spoke about, which is people abandoning their cart, is probably the most is like the first thing that you would do, You know, if you're getting if you're an e-commerce site and if you're getting into automation, this is among the very first kind of mailers that you would you said. But if you apart from that, there is a whole range of sophisticated targeting, and like the example that Mandar was giving, based the kind of time that you're spending on a certain page, your workflow and what you clicked on, you can have rules set on that also. And that's probably an area where ClickTail operates. I've not used this product before, but yeah, that looks like. Manar, I think do you think I'm right?
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, definitely,
that's
it's the right way to go about. I mean, in terms of getting more conversions or getting people to stay and actually continue in their journey of filling out a lead or buying from you. So yes.
sure. So on the simplest way to do this is to use Mailchimp, and that's what we are asked you guys to do. And Mailchimp, there is uh, in fact, there is a separate category for e-commerce, and you can see that there is a templated thing for abandoned cart. Yeah, so it's very simple. You can actually even do an email series, right? Where you can say that, okay, if someone abandons a cart, then he'll get an email one, and after 2 hours he'll get an email two. After a couple of days, get email three. So you can have this series of mails. The only thing that you need to do is you need to connect your site, right? Because Mailchimp would not know what is happening on xyz.com unless you a little bit of programming, a little bit of I would not say coding, just some tracking codes which have to be implemented, which would not take a lot of time if your developer sets his mind to it. And then yeah, you'll be able to do this. And to help you do this, we are also going to be leaving you with this quick video, which will, if you're interested in knowing the details about how exactly to do this, you can just watch this video. So so yeah, just have a look at this.
Yes, definitely. So, I mean, we have been using MailChimp for a lot of our clients, and it easily integrates into Shopify, which is an e-commerce platform.
Hmm.
I think they had a fallout in May, but it used to work well with Shopify.
Okay.
Then easily works with WordPress if you're a WordPress website
Hmm.
and you want to create an automated emailer campaign. Let's say you've published a new blog, you want
Hmm.
to send it out to everybody on your mailing list. You can simply use Mailchimp automation there to send out those emails. So works well for a lot of or different types of customers that we have,
Hmm.
and it's easy to implement also. So like Kaushik, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
it doesn't take much time to get started with MailChimp automation.
Sure. Okay, cool. So that we end with today's webinar. I think I'd like to thank Mandar for taking off his time, and I'll wish him. I'll just just a moment. Yeah, yeah. So I'd like to Mandar, thank you for your time, and best of luck for your. I think you're going to be starting your own. Webinar series. What is this actually? You want to just quickly tell people what?
Yeah, so I'm still going to be at Briefcase and
Right.
lead the performance marketing side there.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I'd be also starting. I have started my podcast. It's 48 episodes old, and I'm seeing
Oh,
some
okay.
traction there. More than 1,000 downloads, unique downloads so far.
Okay.
To augment that, I'll be also recording videos again, which would be related to digital marketing and more from a educative, informational perspective. So, just set up my DIY studio where my friend Nilesh and myself we're going to record some videos and then convert it to podcast and see how it goes from there. Not sure. I mean, whether we launch a paid course, but for now, I'd
Sure.
like to give out all the content for free. So yeah,
Okay,
see how
great.
it goes.
Great. So maybe the next time we talk to you, it's going to be more about tools that are required for podcasts. And yeah, a lot of people are getting into live video and trying to do stuff around it. Yeah, it's a great initiative. So thanks for that, and we'll be in touch. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you so much, Kaushik.